Good morning and good afternoon to people overseas. Today, I have the bill. The I guess today I had the opportunity to address the people that are getting awards from the domestic side here. This morning at 7:30, we started out with the international one. So as we begin, my name is Michael Cunningham. I'm with the World Affairs Council of Austin. And we have today to try to, excuse me a second, try to get this thing going. I'm the same problem. This is the agenda. We had just a few remarks from me. Then we're going to have some remarks that actually were recorded by our Vice President, Ben Ramirez. Then we'll have some remarks recorded earlier from Padla. They both extend their not condolences, but they also are they weren't able to join us live, but they want to share their results. I do want to mention that Pavla's planning a trip. He is the Charge d'Affaires of the embassy of Belarus in Washington, D.C. He announced today that they're in negotiations to try to reestablish, I guess, at some point, normalization. So they're going to actually be calling an ambassador, hopefully at some point. Trump is trying to do that as we speak. And he'll be going back to Belarus sometime in the summer next year. But before that, he wants to go to El Paso and visit Da Vinci High School because he's heard so many good things about the stuff that Dr. Cunningham and Dr. Gonzalez are doing out there. So he wants to visit you on his last trip through the United States. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. Then after we hear the recorded remarks, we're going to hear from Dr. Gonzalez, then Dr. Cunningham. Then we'll talk to the Da Vinci students a little bit. And then around 12:15, we'll be joined by Missy Garcia, who is the current person that is in charge of Texas Youth and Government. Then we'll hear recorded remarks of Dertadios. And then we'll hear from the Del Valle students that are being inducted into the honors here today. So without that, we'll begin with the remarks of Ben Ramirez.
As Vice President of the World Affairs Council of Austin, I'm honored to acknowledge the tremendous efforts that will be recognized today. This is a truly historic moment for our educational community. When the World Affairs Council of Austin was founded, we did so with a simple but powerful belief that true understanding among peoples begins with education. Over the years, we have remained committed to that belief by offering public programs, lectures, and forums connecting people in Austin and beyond to global perspectives, ideas, and a deeper appreciation for our shared humanity. Today, we will focus on one of our most impactful initiatives, the Global Scholars Diploma Program. Through this program, we provide high school students with experiential, hands-on education. It's a kind of global classroom that goes far beyond the theories offered in traditional textbooks. Students actively participate in global debates and international moot courts, drawing on real-world cases from Armenia, Belarus, Canada, India, South Africa, and many other nations. These students actively examine cultural and legal issues in their historical context and the resulting impact on future generations. These immersive, interactive, and collaborative learning opportunities are specifically designed to develop each student's abilities in global competence and mediation. The students learn not just facts, but also how to think as global citizens, how to reason across cultural barriers, tackle complex international issues, and imagine workable solutions. They graduate with a certification in global affairs from our council, but more importantly, they develop a mindset rooted in empathy, critical thinking, and global responsibility. This year, we have reached a wonderful milestone. For the first time, the Global Scholars Diploma Program will confer the Ring of Honor Awards. These are not just awards, they're a symbol of excellence and dedication as demonstrated by the educators and the young people who have committed themselves to global understanding and service. The Ring of Honor represents our belief that actively practicing diplomacy, justice, and achieving fairness through compromise matters deeply. As we present these inaugural Ring of Honor awards, we celebrate not only the achievements of educators who have greatly influenced the lives of individual students, but also the growing community of young global citizens who will help shape our shared future. We affirm that education, experiential, inclusive, and courageous, will bring more opportunities for peace in the world. In closing, I want to thank our partners, the teachers, schools, community leaders, and parents for investing in this vision. I also thank the students whose energy, curiosity, and commitment inspire us all. Together with the Global Scholars Diploma Program and its Ring of Honor, the World Affairs Council of Austin fosters global awareness, builds bridges across cultures, and empowers the next generation of leaders with the tools to make our world more connected, fair, and peaceful. Thank you for the opportunity to address you all today.
Thank you, Ben. Now, the second, let me get Justice. Okay, now we'll hear from opening statements to tell us a little bit about the World Affairs Council and
Introductory speech, domestic and international Ring of Honor video conferences. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues and honored guests, this morning at 7:30 a.m., we gathered for a historic occasion, the International Educators Ring of Honor video conference. We celebrated not only the remarkable educators inducted, but also the vision that has brought us together, the belief that education is a living mandate, a force that transcends borders, and a legacy that must be preserved. And now, at 11 a.m., we continue this journey with the Domestic Ring of Honor video conference, honoring teachers and students whose work here at home has been no less transformative. Why the idea of a Ring of Honor? The Ring of Honor was created to recognize educators and students whose work embodies justice, memory, and dialogue. A ring is a symbol of continuity. It has no beginning and no end. By inducting leaders into this circle, we affirm that their contributions are timeless, that their lessons will echo across generations, and that their commitment to truth and justice will never fade. The World Affairs Council of Austin's role. The World Affairs Council of Austin has long been a bridge between local classrooms and global conversations. Through international summits, moot courts, and collaborative projects, the Council has connected students with diplomats, lawyers, and educators worldwide. In legal education, it has pioneered programs that confront genocide, sovereignty, and crimes against humanity, ensuring that students learn not only the mechanics of law, but its moral purpose. In international education, it has empowered youth to see themselves as global citizens responsible for dialogue, justice, and memory. Honoring domestic educators and students today, we induct into the Domestic Ring of Honor Dr. Kevin Cunningham, El Paso and San Antonio, Dr. Joe Gonzalez, El Paso, Der Tateos Abdalian, New Hampshire, Missy Garcia, Austin, and we celebrate the achievements of students whose voices and vision inspire us all. Elise Pina, Jordan Hamiel, Shemena Batres, Giovanna Macharia. We also recognize Brissa Rodriguez, inducted into the Student Ring of Honor for International Education, whose journey from Del Valle High School to Texas Tech Law School exemplifies the power of education to transform lives. Michael Cunningham's theory of educide. Michael Cunningham has warned of educide, the destruction of education as a form of cultural erasure. Educide occurs when truth is silenced, when history is buried, and when students are denied the tools to confront injustice. By inducting educators and students into the Ring of Honor, we resist educide. We affirm that education must preserve memory, confront atrocity, and empower youth to carry forward the mandate of justice. Michael Cunningham's theory of education. At its core, Cunningham's theory of education insists that learning is not passive. Education is a living mandate, a responsibility to confront hate, restore dignity, and build dialogue. It is not a museum piece, but a force that shapes the present and the future. By embedding genocide awareness, restorative justice, and international dialogue into curricula, we ensure that education fulfills its highest calling, to prepare students not only for careers, but for citizenship, leadership, and moral responsibility. Closing reflection this morning, as we induct educators into the International Ring of Honor, and now as we induct teachers and students into the Domestic Ring of Honor, we celebrate their courage, their vision, and their legacy. Together, we affirm that education is justice, memory, and dialogue, and that the future of education begins here today. At this moment in history, it is especially important to recognize these leaders in this way. Their work reminds us that education is not only about knowledge, but about justice, dignity, and the preservation of truth. By honoring them now, we ensure that their example will guide students and educators across the world for generations to come. On behalf of all gathered, we extend our gratitude to the World Affairs Council of Austin for being a true leader in the field of international and legal education, not only in Texas, but across the globe.
Okay, now we have one more little video to watch or listen to.
Pavel Shidlovsky and the Belarus Legal Project. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, and honored guests, today we gather to honor a man whose vision and courage have profoundly shaped the mission of the World Affairs Council of Austin. It is my privilege to introduce Pavel Shidlovsky, whose leadership and wisdom became the greatest inspirational influence behind two of our most important international projects, the Belarus Legal Project and the Geography of the Genocide Project. Michael Cunningham, director of the Legal Studies Division, explained it best. Pavel changed my life and recentered my ideas about education. Today we are using what we have been introduced through Pavel, and we are now bringing Belarus to the world. Pavel's philosophy is simple, yet transformative. Genocide knows no statute of limitations. This is not merely a slogan. It is the very centerpiece of our legal program. His insistence that justice is for the victim, not the criminal, has become the guiding principle of our work. Through the Belarus Legal Project, Pavel's influence has ensured that crimes against humanity are confronted with courage and clarity, and that sovereignty, law, and justice are taught as living mandates. Through the Geography of the Genocide Project, his vision has empowered students to see atrocity not as distant history, but as a global reality that demands remembrance and response. The Courthouse to the Classroom Project, Da Vinci High School. Equally inspiring is how Pavel's influence has reached students directly. The Da Vinci High School students working through the Courthouse to the Classroom project have engaged in real-world legal education that is truly outstanding. They studied how the U.S. federal court in New York charged 4 Belarusian nationals with air piracy and then represented Belarus in an appeal to the International Criminal Court of Justice, ICCJ. They learned the importance of bringing charges against individuals by name, affirming that crimes must be tied to accountability, not obscured by anonymity. They argued that the United States lacked standing to bring the case in a New York court, and that such action undermined the sovereign immunity of Belarus. A side result of their work was learning about the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, of 1977, the law that allows the U.S. president to declare a national emergency against a person or country, impose sanctions, freeze assets, and levy tariffs without additional congressional approval. This knowledge proved essential on November 5, 2025, when during oral arguments before the U.S. Supreme Court, justices questioned how the president could levy tariffs without Congress's permission. The answer, known by the Da Vinci students through their Belarus legal project studies, was clear. IEEPA 1977 granted that authority. Through this experience, the students demonstrated that education is not abstract. It is preparation for answering real-time questions at the highest levels of law and governance. Their work shows that Pavel's influence in the Belarus legal project have created an educational model that is both practical and transformative. Closing reflection. Today, as we recognize Pavel Szydlowski, we celebrate not only his influence, but the enduring legacy he has given us. A legacy that ensures the World Affairs Council of Austin continues to bring Belarus and the mandate of justice to the world. At this moment in history, it is especially important to recognize these leaders in this way. Their work reminds us that education is not only about knowledge, but about justice, dignity, and the preservation of truth. By honoring them now, we ensure that their example will guide students and educators across the world for generations to come.
Then at this point, if Pablo he's at a meeting today in DC, so he cannot join us at this point, but we gave a award to Pablo. And then we talk a little bit about the genocide, which we're going to talk more about in the spring at Da Vinci here. But from 1941 to 1944, 3 years, 1/3 of the population of Belarus was eliminated by Germany. And we've discussed this with the kids from Da Vinci, but go to the next one real quick. Okay. We're not going to listen to all of it, but I want you to listen to part of this here. Then we'll go to Dr. Gonzalez.
Distinguished guests, esteemed educators, visionary students, and friends of global understanding, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are joining us from across our interconnected world. Today, we stand on the cusp of something truly extraordinary, a project that transcends borders, bridges cultures, and transforms education. We are here to celebrate the launch of the Courtroom to the Classroom project, a groundbreaking initiative connecting the solemn halls of justice in Minsk, Belarus, to the vibrant, inquisitive classrooms of Da Vinci High School in El Paso, Texas. Imagine a learning experience where geographical distance evaporates, where the past speaks directly to the present, and where the principles of justice become tangible realities for high school students thousands of miles away. This is not a dream. It is the powerful, living essence of the Courtroom to the Classroom project. It is a testament to what can be achieved when innovation meets dedication, when history is honored, and when the future leaders of our world are given the tools to understand complexities far beyond their immediate environment. At the heart of this visionary endeavor is the profound inspiration drawn from individuals like Pavel Szydlowski, whose unwavering dedication to justice, historical truth, and the pursuit of accountability has ignited this spark. His insights and passion have been instrumental in shaping a curriculum that is both rigorous and profoundly relevant. The World Affairs Council of Austin, with its unwavering commitment to fostering global education and understanding, meticulously crafted this unique program. They understood that mere facts are not enough. True education requires context, empathy, and direct, meaningful engagement. The curriculum developed is a masterclass in interdisciplinary learning, designed to immerse American high school students in critical aspects of global society. It delves into 3 pivotal and interconnected areas: the legal system in Belarus, providing students with an intimate understanding of a judicial framework distinct from their own, fostering comparative analysis, critical thinking, and respect for diverse governance structures. The genocide of 1941-1944 in Belarus, confronting the brutal realities of one of history's darkest chapters, ensuring that the victims are remembered and the invaluable lessons of atrocity are never forgotten. The charging of Nazi war criminals from World War II today in courts, demonstrating that justice, though sometimes delayed, is not denied, and that accountability for crimes against humanity is a perpetual, unwavering pursuit, even generations later. And bringing this powerful curriculum to life on the ground are the extraordinary students and educators of Da Vinci High School in El Paso, Texas. They are not merely receiving information, they are actively engaging with history, distinguished guests, transforming their classroom into a dynamic, visionary international forum and for friends of global understanding. Good morning, good afternoon, 5 or good reasons evening. Why.
Okay, we'll stop right there. It starts a little bit there because I'd like to get to talk to the actual people. But what we want to try to express here was our deep, let me just continue to say.
Depending on where you are joining.
No, okay, we're getting double over. I wanted to express from the World Affairs Council just how important this work is and how impressed we are with Da Vinci and Birnam Wood to actually adopt this. Okay, so now we're going to hear introduction. First of all, we'll introduce Dr. Gonzalez, and then we'll listen to Dr. Gonzalez's remarks.
Dr. Joe Gonzalez, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, and honored guests. It is my honor today to introduce a leader whose vision and dedication have transformed education in El Paso and beyond. We gather to celebrate Dr. Joe Gonzalez, Superintendent of the Birnam Wood Charter School District, as he is initiated into the World Affairs Council of Austin's Ring of Honor for International Educators. Dr. Gonzalez has devoted nearly 6 decades to education, serving as teacher, coach, principal, athletic director, and superintendent. His leadership at Da Vinci Schools for Science and the Arts and across the Birnam Wood Charter District has been marked by innovation, resilience, and a steadfast commitment to preparing students for the global stage. Under his guidance, enrollment has grown, programs have expanded, and students have been given opportunities to thrive in both academics and extracurricular activities. What sets Dr. Gonzalez apart is his belief that education must extend beyond the classroom. He has championed international education programs, ensuring that young people in El Paso are connected to the wider world, equipped with the skills of collaboration, communication, and responsibility that the 21st century demands. His vision has been clear: to grow young leaders who embody both academic excellence and civic responsibility. Today, as we induct him into the Ring of Honor for International Educators, we recognize not only his achievements, but also the legacy he continues to build. A legacy of students who see themselves as global citizens, who understand that leadership is service, and who are prepared to meet the challenges of tomorrow with courage and conviction. Dr. Gonzalez stands as a beacon of what education can achieve when guided by vision, integrity, and a commitment to international collaboration. It is with great pride that we welcome him into this distinguished circle of educators whose work ensures that justice, memory, and dignity remain at the heart of learning across the world. Please join me in celebrating Dr. Joe Gonzalez, a true architect of international education and a worthy member of the Ring of Honor for International Educators.
Okay, Dr. Gonzalez, would you like to give your remarks, please?
I just wanted to go ahead and introduce Dr. Gonzalez, actually. He's been a mentor of mine for over 20 years. This is the 4th school I've worked with him. And in each one of those schools, we've always taken the school that was underperforming and changed it completely and made it to where it was one of the highest performing schools in the district. And Dr. Gonzalez has been doing this for over 63 years. This is his 64th year in education. And I just wanted to introduce one of my mentors and father figures, Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you. Well, we're pleased to be looking at what we're looking at here today. a group of people that believe that education is bigger than it looks. It's not the area you live in, it's not the state you live in, it's not the country you live in, but it's international, it's the world. What we try to do at Da Vinci and have done, we've done it other places. I've been in 8 different districts, but I never go to a district that's doing well. I only look at the districts where the kids are failing and they're not getting what they need to go on with life, whether that would be the traditional university life or a good work site life. We take those schools, we get the best thing you can do in a school if you really like the kids and love to work with the kids is get the best teachers possible. And Dr. Cunningham, Kevin, has been with me at 4 schools, and we had everything there was at one particular school. They've all been hurting in some way, but at one particular school, they were gang ridden. They had had 4 principals in 1 year and 3 superintendents, and he was there, and he always would get A's. Nobody else was getting A's but Kevin. So you got to look at the good teachers, bring in some others that have the capacity. I don't say they are automatically a good teacher, but they have the capacity to be a good teacher, and then let people like Kevin and others mentor them. We do a few things at Da Vinci that are different. We believe that everything's important. And then we also believe that every child, every human being has something that they're better at than anybody else. Our job is to awaken what they are, where they are superior, and use that to enthuse them to do better in the areas they don't do so well. Example, we got a great day. Our dance group, our mariachi group, they're coming over here to San Antonio to present for the United States of America top honors. We also have other groups that people don't think are traditionally, they say, well, they're not too smart, they're jocks, they're athletes. But we don't let our athletes participate if they don't have a B or better average. And on a lot of our teams, they have an A average. So we reach out first, find the best teachers, get them with the right kids, get the right mindset. How do you do that? And I'm watching the clock here. You help me with that, Kevin.
We're fine.
Okay. And we really, what we have to do, other than have the good teachers, you got the good teachers, you're going to do well. But here's what happens in America. I don't know about other countries, although I've done some work in Mexico, some work in Canada. I know that we take our best teachers and make them administrators. And that's a big no-no at our place. All our administrators, right from myself as a superintendent, the deputy superintendent, the assistant superintendent, Kevin's an administrator, they teach 2 or 3 classes. That way you don't take this wealth of knowledge, this wealth of ability to motivate kids and put it in an office where they're by themselves or working with all adults. So that's one thing we do. The other thing we do, we try to say to the kids, we're not underestimating you, we're overestimating you. But this is what we're going to do. For example, to get out of Da Vinci High School, everybody has to take 4 years of engineering. Everybody. And it doesn't matter if it's a special needs, it doesn't matter if it's a language challenge child, 4 years of engineering. The other thing they have to do, in addition to that, is we go from the classroom, the curriculum classroom as it's traditionally been known, into another building that we bought where we practice what we preach. And we teach them some life skills in case the traditional 4-year college isn't for them. We want everybody to be either in the traditional 4-year college or over in non-academic, but academic. We don't let our students that go to the trade school not have the heavy academics of Da Vinci. So we start putting together these expectations. And then we know that one of the things that children have a problem with is getting along with other children, especially when they're young. So we do a lot of meeting. The superintendent meets with all the students, starting with preschool all the way through 12th grade in what's called an intern program. And what we teach them there is leadership, But we first tell them that with leadership comes such qualities as humility, such qualities as loyalty, such qualities as observing others and giving credit where credit is due. A lot of this work we're doing today is because of Dr. Cunningham, Kevin Cunningham. He teaches our students debate, and they win at the state level every year in various programs. In our medical program, part of their competition is the debate. They go over there and they win. And he teaches students the art of self-defense. And we also can cite one time in Austin where it saved a child's life. He was walking through the woods. Some people jumped on him. They had weapons. He disarmed them and came back to tell us about it. So there's a lot of things you got to look at in the whole child. Let's talk a little bit more about what we can do to have the rigor that's needed and to have the interest go with that rigor. You have to make the rigor something that people can actually have, do, and have success. So we don't test once at Da Vinci. We give the student 5 times that they can take the same test. That's not rigor in many people's eyes, but it is, because we don't let them get out of that class or out of that test until they master it. Therefore, in the last 9 years, we have led all schools, big, small, public, private, all schools in a 40-mile radius of El Paso in test scores. I think it's because our kids don't give up. Dropout, we have little to no dropouts. Violence, we have the lowest violence in the state of Texas per capita. Any of those things that are judged, where you can judge or put a stat to it, we're looking pretty good. But we also teach the kids, you're going to get roadblocks all along your path. And it might be the better you are, the more roadblocks you get. So how do you take a challenge of a roadblock? It might be a personal, from a person roadblock, or it might be an organizational, a bureaucratic roadblock. We spend a lot of time talking to them about what do you do when you get up in the morning and you got problems facing you. Rigor is not just a word. It's something you instill in the student by letting them see real life situations. Another thing that I think we're different in Da Vinci, I think we're very, very different in that all our teachers are willing to stay extra time. There's kids there behind, there's students there behind. They're there extra time, offering tutoring or offering advice. Every teacher is a counselor. Every kid has some teacher they like better than others. And that's the one that should be their counselor, because they'll talk openly to that person. So every teacher, we tell them, we want you to be a counselor, especially the coaches of dancing, cheerleading, athletics, music. All those people are highly, highly loved by the students. Use that love in a positive way to get these students aroused and with interest, and get them moving. And then once you show a kid they're really good at something, better than everybody else, they all of a sudden, it's funny because there's a little flood over to the other areas and they get better and better and better. It takes about 4 to 5 years is what the stats say to learn our language. We'll have our kids ready after 1 year to be quite good in English or whatever language we are. We got different kinds of cultures in our school. But in 2 years, they're going to be speaking very good English, because state tests and national tests in many ways are nothing more than an English test. It's not a math test. It's not a science test. It's an English test, because if the kids can't do the English, they're going to fail. So we get them ready quickly because we do immersion. And that's what's really worked well for us. Right now, we're about 84% emergent bilingual. We continue. This last year, the U.S. News and World Report judges as the best public school in the El Paso area. So we're getting some things done because we're a little bit different. There's no such thing as a bad idea. Kevin brought this to me and he said, hey, this is something that I'd like you to look at. And I said, I like it. I said, anytime you can bring people in from the international level or another area, anytime you bring that, you bring new ideas, you bring a new culture, you could bring a new way of thinking for our kids. So we have what we call an open-ended curriculum. It's based on questions. If a kid gives you an answer and he doesn't answer it right, a lot of classrooms, somebody else puts up their hand, and the same kids are answering all the questions every day. We don't let the kid get off that way. We say, wait a minute, you told me this. Never say it's right or wrong. Never say that. Tell me more about it. Now, if they can't do it, you turn to his neighbor and say, hey, John, give him a little help. What do you think? And then pretty soon you got 4 or 5 collaborative learners going. And then that kid feels like they were part of the answer. So we do a lot of things that are open-ended, collaboration, partnerships. We talk about it all the time. The biggest thing to do as an educator that we preach, and I probably preach it till they get tired of it, is go into that classroom with enthusiasm, with energy. I'm getting there in age where I shouldn't have this energy, but I still do. And when I don't have that energy, that's when I'll say it's time for somebody like Kevin to take over. So we're really happy with what's happening. And the biggest thing we're happy about is those stats that we have at the state where it has to do with behavior. And when we go to games, the referees tell us how much better our kids behave. Last night we ate in a restaurant with about 30 people, and the waitresses all said, this is the best group of students that we've had in here, the way they behave. We teach them those things that are old-fashioned, like manners, like concern for the other person, like sharing with the other person. So that's kind of giving you a philosophical look at what we do. We do have all of the things we have to do, but we put them all in the context of that philosophy. And I'm able to talk some more, but I think I've given you quite a bit of what we do there. And we're really excited that someone's going to visit our school.
Yeah, I think that it should be. It may have a whole delegation of people, but we're going to at least have him. He announced that this morning. He was very excited to hear about this. One thing, a couple questions I have. How many students do you have that come from Juarez every day? A lot of people don't really know how many international students that you may have.
Okay, here's what happens. We have, because of our state, our students have to live in our district, but they can have a guardian. Juarez and El Paso, as you know, being from Texas, are right side by side. So a lot of students that come from will come from Juarez. I'd say about 60 to 70%, 60 for sure. But they live with their guardian, who might be their grandmother, their grandfather, the brother of their wife, the brother of their mother or father. They have relatives. They're all, and so they have to be with them at least 3 days a week, and they have to be a United States citizen. They were born in the U.S. because otherwise, with today's culture, that the political culture, a lot of schools are having a lot of trouble because they didn't take the time to do that. So how many come? About 60% for sure.
Wow, that's very good. Bunch of information to know, because a lot of people that be seeing this may not understand exactly how close you are to the border and how important some of those issues are. I appreciate the comments, Dr. Gonzalez, and then we're going to go to Dr. Cunningham. Just a second. Let me try to go here. Yeah.
Dr. Joe Gonzalez, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, and honored guests. It is my honor today to introduce.
Okay.
Dr. Gonzalez is having a leak. We have an emergency with one of our
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues and honored guests, it is my privilege today to introduce an educator whose vision and scholarship have reshaped the way students in Texas and beyond engage with learning. we gather to honor Dr. Kevin Cunningham, teacher and curriculum specialist at Da Vinci High Schools in El Paso and San Antonio, as he is initiated into the World Affairs Council of Austin's Ring of Honor for International Educators. Cunningham has built his career on the belief that education must be more than the transmission of facts. It must be a living dialogue. Through his mastery of the Socratic teaching method, he has guided students to think critically, question deeply, and discover truth through inquiry. His classrooms are not places of passive reception, but arenas of intellectual engagement where young people learn to sculpt their own ideas and identities. This philosophy is embodied in his doctoral dissertation, The Self-Sculptor Model, a framework that empowers students to take ownership of their learning, shaping themselves as thinkers, leaders, and citizens. By integrating this model into curriculum design, Dr. Cunningham has advanced a pedagogy that is both rigorous and liberating, one that equips students with the tools to confront complexity and ambiguity with confidence. For the past 3 years, Dr. Cunningham has extended this vision through his work with the World Affairs Council of Austin, contributing to international education programs that connect Texas classrooms to the wider world. His efforts have ensured that students not only master critical thinking skills, but also understand their role as global citizens, prepared to engage across cultures and borders. Today, as we induct him into the Ring of Honor for International Educators, we celebrate not only his accomplishments, but also the legacy he is building. A generation of students who see education as a dialogue, who embrace inquiry as a path to justice, and who are prepared to lead with wisdom and courage. Dr. Kevin Cunningham stands as a model of what it means to be both a teacher and a scholar, a sculptor of minds, a cultivator of dialogue, and a champion of international education. It is with great pride that we welcome him into this distinguished circle of educators, whose work ensures that memory, justice, and dignity remain at the heart of learning across the world. Please join me in celebrating Dr. Kevin Cunningham, a true architect of critical inquiry and a worthy member of the Ring of Honor for International Educators.
Okay, now Kevin, if we could have the comments.
Well, I just wanted to start by saying at Da Vinci, the leadership starts from the top and goes all the way down. So when Dr. Gonzalez hires you to be a teacher and educator at the school, he always asks, what else can you do? And one of the things that I told him was, well, when I was in high school, I debated. When I was in college, I debated, and I've taught debate for several years. And he's like, great, you can start our debate program. And I did that in Austin, and I've done that in El Paso, and now here in San Antonio. So I am one of the founding members of the Da Vinci Debate Society, along with our esteemed students here today. And I'm very proud of all of the success they've had in the past, and looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing into the future.
And now, Kevin, I have a few questions for you. These projects we're working on with Belarus, what did you know about Belarus beforehand, and what did you learn by doing some of the projects?
Well, I knew that they were in the eastern part of Europe, and I knew that it was very difficult to transition from the Soviet era to now. And I know that there's a lot of tensions going on between the different groups and all of that. But I didn't know that there was political tensions between the United States, like where the lack of having an embassy and then having an embassy and then not having an embassy again, it was kind of like up in the air. I was totally unaware of that.
Okay, and also, what did you know about the genocide that takes place from 1941 1944 in Belarus before you went and started these projects?
The only thing I knew was a very cursory example of what was going on during the genocide, just as a world history teacher, but I didn't know any of the minute details. Because we look at genocide and we see things like the Armenian genocide, we look at the Holocaust, and those are like, they take center stage, but there are other examples like the Belarusian genocide that are kind of swept under the rug and they don't need to be.
Well, one thing that it mentioned probably went over in great detail this morning is that 1/3 of the population of Belarus was eliminated. You know, when you take a country of 10 million and 3.1 million of the people were eliminated off the face of the earth, that's a large percentage. In fact, they have the largest percentage of any country during World War II. So today, actually last week, the prosecutor general presented a case against another Nazi. Now, one of the things that we talked about, and I'm going to ask the kids too, the students, about is the idea of when does a crime actually not become a crime anymore? If a criminal commits a crime and that criminal dies, does that mean that the court case should die too? What's your opinion of that?
I think you need to set a precedent and say that if a major genocide, like a genocide is not just a minor crime, it's a crime against humanity. And if we allow crimes against humanity to go unpunished, then we're saying that it's an okay thing to do. But in reality, history proves time and time again that all of the worst atrocities that were ever committed were committed under the guise of genocide. So you don't allow things like that to pass without going unchecked.
Right. The victim is actually still a victim, even though they're dead. And then the perpetrators, while they passed, does not mean that the crime passed. And then our biggest thing is it was mentioned by a couple of the people that were inducted earlier, is that we forget our history, what ends up happening to our society?
Well, it's like the old adage, those who forget their history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. And in fact, why you can make a strong case that what is the most important class to be taught in school?
Other than ethics, history.
Yeah. And why?
Like I was saying before, if you don't know your history, you're going to be doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, and what by taking these programs like this, how does this help out the students in El Paso, or explain to the people how you can be in San Antonio and teach in El Paso at the same time?
Well, through the miracle of modern technology and through distance learning education, we can connect different groups of people together. But the most important thing is, it's not just being able to go on a Zoom or go on a live and then talking with people back and forth. It's that direct confrontation. It's like you're not looking at something from a book. You're learning something by the person who's living it there themselves. So how would the people in Belarus understand what Americans know or Americans think unless they actually speak with Americans? And the same is in reverse. How do Americans understand what's going on in the country of Belarus if we never talk with any Belarusians? We need to understand where they're coming from in order to really understand the world itself. And that goes back to the genocide thing, where you're not going to have genocides if you understand what's going on. Like those people over there, I know those people. Those people are really great people. Why are we attacking those people? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, one of the things about genocide is you have to dehumanize people and you make them into objects that could be, squished like a bug or something to that effect. If you think of them as a human being, it's very difficult to do the same things. And one of the things I think I'm so proud of what you guys are doing and what you're doing at Da Vinci is that you are actually allowing people to future leaders to actually be able to introduce and talk to other people and get some ideas much better than some other schools, so. And one last thing ask before you introduce some of the students here in a second. Why can public charter schools or schools like yourself, why are they more flexible than the traditional public school? And why do you think that they are taking programs like this and doing a great job? Why are you a leader in doing this?
It all boils down to leadership. when you are allowed by your leadership, your superintendent, to have carte blanche, you're able to go in and say, okay, we need you to run this program. We want our kids to have as many opportunities as we possibly can. And we're not micromanaging you. We're expecting you to do this particular job and perform at a high level. You're allowed to go in there and you're able to create and have the kids create. So if you foster a culture of creation throughout the entire organization, from the top of the hierarchy all the way down to the very bottom, you get creativity. And that creativity, that's that spark that you see in charter schools that you don't necessarily see in larger schools because they are so top heavy in terms of the top echelon of leadership will force everyone to conform to a particular set system, and you cannot deviate. Whereas with charter schools, we have a lot more leniency.
Okay, we're actually being joined, and we're going to talk to her later, Missy Garcia from the Texas Youth and Government Program. But one of the other programs that we're running besides the courtroom to the classroom is the project where we're doing virtually the Texas Appeals Court from the Y&G. And we've been discussing that with the students and why they're doing like moot courts through Texas Y&G and things like that virtually. Why is that important? How does that help out our students or your students?
Well, there's a lot of students that we have that have the skills and have the knowledge and have like a desire to be in like the legal system, to go into public service. And they don't get in many opportunities at the high school level for that kind of education. So it's like they have to wait until college to try to get the opportunity. Well, with this particular program, you get that opportunity as your freshman year in high school. And then you work it all 4 years, and then you are light years ahead of other people in college who are about to go into their programs. A great example, and I guess we can use this as a segue here, I wanted to introduce some of the students that we have in our debate program. The two founding members that we still have are Giovanna Macharia and Jordan Hamill. Now, Giovanna is a senior. She's been with us for 4 years. She's a founding member of the Da Vinci Debate Society. And you can tell she's the type of person that has the desire and the capability for being in public service. So if it wasn't for programs like this and being in moot court and mock trial and mediations, you wouldn't have, or she wouldn't have the opportunity for it.
Okay. And importance, especially like in El Paso. El Paso, for a lot of people, is further west than Albuquerque, further west than Santa Fe. It's in Texas, but for many of us in the other parts of Texas, it's barely in Texas. And for the people who have ever driven to El Paso, you drive and you drive and you drive and you eventually get there. Why would programs like this then bringing into Da Vinci and other places? Why is this so important?
Well, the world is large, but at the same time, the world is also super small. And if we can using this particular program, we can bring people from across the world together, and then that way they can collaborate and they can make new things happen. But if you're looking at it in traditional method, where everything's just so far away, it's like El Paso is on the other side of the state. Texas is a huge state, and it's out of sight, out of mind. So with programs like this, the world becomes infinitely small and more connected.
Okay, now I have the certificates, and we're going to go a little bit off programs here a second, but why don't we go ahead and introduce each particular person, and you can start with you, Kevin, introduce the young lady, and then go ahead and explain. Then maybe we ask a few questions, and we'll get to Missy then. But we'll start with Giovanni, and then we'll go in order like that, and then end up with Imena. Okay? I think that's in order. Yeah.
Yes, let's start with the two co-captains. We have
Okay,
Giovanna
cool.
She's a senior at excuse me, at Da Vinci High School in El Paso. And she is, like I said, been with us for 4 years. And let's hear from Giovanna.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Cunningham. And I'm here today at La Da Vinci at San Antonio with the mariachi to prepare for competition. But my sweet teammates are at El Paso, Texas, and we're very excited today. It's an honor to be inducted into the Domestic Ring of Honor, and it's an honor to be an example to all those out there. This is an important day. We are launching the courtroom to the classroom, and I want to thank you, Da Vinci, very much. I joined the internship program when I was in 10th grade, and from there I got the courage to take up this program after Mr. Cunningham left San Antonio. It took a lot of faith, believing that this would turn into something great, and here we are today. It took a lot to keep going, not to give up when it got harder. Every single time we reached a milestone, another one came, and finally we opened this program, and it's so important and incredible that we're here today. Debating with international students is unlike anything I've ever done, and I wouldn't be able to even imagine that I'll get to do this in a lifetime or even during my high school career. So it's incredible, and debating regionally is one thing, but debating internationally is another, because regionally we're all kind of shaped by the same region. We're shaped in the way that we speak, the way that we reason, the logic that we use, and the values that we assume. But the values that we assume here would definitely be different from the values that someone in Belarus or Italy assumes. So it's a good opportunity to see how other people, other cultures think. And us ourselves, we have something to bring to the table because we're in the same community, El Paso, Texas, but we're also in the same region, but we're in different communities. For example, I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. And so my close tight community is African American, and that's where I get most of my values, wisdom, knowledge. But for example, someone that came in about this is from a whole different community. And I'll let her talk about that. But it's an honor today, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Giovanna.
All right, so now we have co-captain Jordan Hamill.
Hi guys, I'm over here in Da Vinci, El Paso, Texas, and I just want to say it is an honor to be receiving this award and to be recognized for the opportunities that debate has given me. And I just wanted to say about how happy I am to be able to receive this opportunity, not only to be with the Miss District at Da Vinci, but to be with the people and the experiences that it's allowed me to have. The way that I've been able to be by Jill's side, as she said, as Mr. Cunningham said as well, I am a founding member of Debate, and never would I ever have imagined that I'd be, arguing with different people on an international level, much less a regional level. And I have to say that it's something that as you said, I just never could have imagined that I'd be able to do. And the experiences that they allowed me to have and the people that I've been able to meet has just been so life-changing that it's kind of instilled me with a sense of confidence that I can do what I put my mind to. And it's opened my mind to the different experiences, as Jill said, the different experiences and the different ways of thinking that we all have as a society, and about how location really shapes your perception and how we can broaden our thinking as a society and where we come from individually. But it's been amazing. I've been at Da Vinci my entire life, and I've been in debate for 3 years. I am a junior, and I am, as Mr. Cunningham said, the co-captain of the Debate Society. I definitely enjoy managing the meetings when Gio's not able to, and just being able to help Gio when we are able to coincide with the meetings. Then it really makes me understand how deep and the impact that we are creating within our community, and not just within our community, but as a student who's learning more about other global and political cultures. So I just want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for recognizing us today as a society, and
Thank you very much, Jordan. Kevin, next, please.
All right, so we have Elisa Pina next, and I remember seeing her for the very first time when she was in the 7th grade, and she was in line to take the STAR test, which is our state assessment in Texas. And she was so upset because she had to have she's like, I need a book in my hand. And she was a voracious reader still to this day. And I've never forgotten that. And I was like, you need to be in debate. And we finally got her into the debate society. But the one and only Elisa Pena.
Hello. The first things first, I am really honored to be with my team members, with my fellow students, with my peers who all come from different perspectives, different families, different cultures, different ethnicity, anything. We can never truly be, you can never truly see the other person until you coexist with them. And it's a wonderful experience. They mentioned El Paso being close to Juarez, and I love this community, this city, because you see the blend of cultures and the beauty that it comes from it. The debate society has brought me to understand the value of truth, to understand the value of morals and justice, and how important it is to withhold and support these standards. It's an injustice can occur at any moment, and those people need to defend it. These people need to be understanding the concepts that we have to bring to the table and have to share it with the world. It has been very important to me because I am new to this debate and I am completely in the dark, and I have wonderful friends to help me with everything. They help me understand, they are wonderful people that you get to learn and you get to build a community around with, and it's wonderful, and you never get to see anything like this anywhere else. We are connected, we have beauty in everything and in each other. That is all I have.
Okay.
And our last member of the team is Jimena. She's the newest member of the Da Vinci Debate Society.
Jimena? Unmute. Unmute. Okay, good. Go ahead.
There you go. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jimena Batres, as mentioned. I am a high school senior in Da Vinci High School in El Paso. And every day I face the challenge of crossing the border just to study in the USA, in El Paso. And this has made me see both perspectives in two different cultures. Now I see less the bridge as a daily walk. I see it more as a bridge for connection, and I see it more as a bridge for empathy. Every new person I meet, mostly immigrants as their cousin, mostly new people, mostly grandmothers who just want to share their story with me. They all bring new perspectives. I understand now that new perspectives change everything, especially in global issues, which was the reason why I decided to join Debate Society in Da Vinci. I'm deeply, deeply grateful because it has taught me many, many things. With them, it has taught me to think critically, how to communicate more clearly, even if I speak two different languages, and sometimes it's more of a challenge, and understanding different viewpoints that are always different. You have so many things to learn from people. It has also taught me how to lead, not only in my community, but internationally, with responsibility, initiative, and confidence. Connecting with others is amazing. It's honestly something I would have never imagined in my life. I honestly did not see myself doing something like this a year ago from now. But with the help of my team members and Mr. Cunningham, we challenge ideas together and we grow together. With this, we plan on connecting with international younger leaders and while debating with them. Because honestly, we just want to change the world and we all do this for the same thing. We want justice. We want to do something different just to be happier and enjoy life. And I think that's everything I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sometimes it's easier to fix somebody else's problems than it is to fix your own. So, you know, we look at problems in other parts of the world. It's easy for us to see that and argue it, where we might be arguing forever in our own country, which is a whole nother question. Kevin, why don't you ask them to say one thing that they learned from this experience? Just say one. Have each of the girls say one thing. Then we'll go to Missy in a moment. Go ahead.
So Giovanna, as a founding member of the Debate Society, what's the biggest takeaway you have from this entire experience?
I believe that you yourself, you have a lot of power. You can do a lot, but when you come together as a team, then you're stronger. So we help each other, we grow one another. And it doesn't matter what you knew when you started a debate. It doesn't matter if you knew nothing. It doesn't matter if you knew everything. As long as we put our minds together, that's when it really matters. That's when we can really make an impact. So that's would be my biggest takeaway as I head out into the world. Thank you.
And Jordan, you have a totally different debate style from Giovanna. You're both like fire and ice. So one person's really fiery, the other person's more, cool and calculating. So from your perspective, what's the biggest takeaway about being a member of the Debate Society?
I think it's more of internalized perspective. So for me, it's more about how what I can offer in terms of the way that I think and the way that I speak. That is definitely a lot different from Gio. I learned about how you have to carry yourself and continue when you're going. When we had our first regional debate competition, I believe it was probably the worst I've ever spoken. I've never studied so much in my life. I blanked out. It was the worst speech I've ever said. But the preparation that went into it and the belief and the courage that was needed for me to be able to do that, and for me to be able to speak in front of, to do public speaking and to speak off the top of my head is something that I definitely had taken away from Dr. G. And not only it taught me about how mentality can really change everything, because even when you have all the knowledge and you practice and you try to get everything down to a point, there is always something that you're not going to be happy with. There's always something that you believe you could be doing better. But what matters is that you have the courage to go through with it and to do your best and put your best foot forward. And that is something I definitely learned from debate, is more about the mentality and self-confidence that I've gained from this experience and from talking to other people, that has honestly bettered my life as a whole. And I'm really grateful that I had the sense enough, that I had the courage enough to do something that scared me and to continue to do something that scares me now, because it is a very rewarding experience that I'm able to do something like this when other people are probably not in the same position that I am. And that is all I have to say.
Thank you, Jordan.
And for the next two ladies, you're new to the Debate Society, so this is kind of like new to all of you. But what was the most important thing you learned
about this project? Let's ask about the project they just completed.
About this particular project, how can you take what you've learned in school and put it towards this project?
So for me, the things that I learned to implement into this project was the sense of justice, that you have to be strong in your beliefs and that you have to input it into what you have to speak, what you have to tell other people, what you have to make others understand the severity of it. And we see history repeated multiple times, and because of that, we need to learn it. We need to understand it to implement it into our projects. So history would be a great class to implement into this project because it teaches you what goes wrong when certain things happen, what you shouldn't do, what you can do to stop these actions or these unfair judgments. It's one of the things that I have learned most, and being new to the debate society allowed me to understand how you have to make a stand. You have to understand that other people might not do it, so you yourself have to do it. You have to be strong in what you believe because others might not defend it or others may attack your belief.
Thank you. Anna?
Hello again. One second. My biggest takeaway from this project and something that I take from Da Vinci into this project specifically is the power of the word. Just using ethos, logos, pathos. It's quite easy in a debate to get caught in the adrenaline rush, to get caught with this rapid fire of ever-changing ideas. But when you get to a deeper emotional connection, we just want to understand each other and we want to defend our ideas. And that's why the power of our words make it so special. And I believe that's my biggest focus right here that I use in my argument.
Thank you so much. And thank you. Congratulations again for Dr. Cunningham for being inducted into the Educator Ring of Honor, and for each of the young women to be inducted into the Student Ring of Honor. Like they said at the very beginning here with Mr. Ramirez, this is a very important part of the World Affairs Council, and you guys are the starship, or you are the flagship, I guess you would say, of this program. And you will be getting visited by several people, and very, very excited on that particular thing. So what we'd like to do at this point is that we would want to, you can stay and watch, but I want to introduce to you the next person we're going to honor, and it's Missy Garcia. I'll just give you a little bit of a background since I've lost the ability to go back to the slides. I've known Missy for well over a decade now, I guess 13 years or so, 12 years. It's been a relationship that I like to call a good friendship. She used to visit our high school when I was a teacher there in Del Valley. Then she went to become the state director, and then as we grow, we see and we develop. Education is a relationship, and what you're going to see is that the better relationships you have, the better off, the more you learn. And one thing that's kind of interesting, I'll just mention one very quick thing, is that Missy is from El Paso herself, so she has a special part in her life. El Paso is a very important aspect to her. That's where she grew up. So if you would, Missy, let's go ahead and start.
Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. I'm so inspired to come and just talk after you guys, like listening to each of you students. This is exactly why I do the work that I do. Yes, I am from El Paso, and all my family is from Juarez. And I think that I grew up with the unique lens of understanding that international relations is friendly, is about seeing people, is about having conversation and creating community, even though there's separation. And so in my role here with the Y, we're just about opening doors for more students to be able to do that. And I think the big important piece is students like you stepping up and taking that opportunity to be part of the conversation, to see beyond what's going on in your school and in your classroom, and to make sure that you're part of the broader perspective and to widen your lens, because what you're doing it for is for yourselves and for the expansion of everybody that gets to be around you, just like myself right now, getting to hear from all of you. That's exactly it. Like, we learn and grow from hearing about each other and seeing the experiences that each of us have and bring to the table. And that's what I admire about the World Affairs Council and everything that they're trying to do about bridging communities and dispelling, these ideas and concepts that we have of each other, and really making sure that you guys can see the other person, and have that conversation, and then just also try to excel together. And, like you said, also sometimes fail together, because it's hard and life is hard and you're going to have a lot of struggles. And I've definitely had those as well. But I promise you, I've learned more from working hard and working past those things than all of the things that came easy. And so this is just so amazing, the work that you guys are doing, and that the educators in your campuses are exposing to you guys. I'm so thankful for those bridges of community that are being opened. I know that you don't always know the doors that are open for you, but they've opened amazing doors for all of us, and even for us at our program, to be able to understand what this means for students and broadening their scope of the world. And so, thank you so much for having me a part of this, even though I feel like it's just, stepping aside and making sure that you guys have the opportunity to flourish and to excel. And so excited about that.
Well, Missy, discuss a little bit about the virtual aspect of this, and how it could be an important aspect of the Y, and how it could actually help grow some of the programs, especially when you talk about moot courts, which would be a lot more attainable than trying to have a court with 5 or 6 witnesses and stuff like that.
Well, I think, we have, I'm an old dog, we've learned a lot with technology in the past few years. And again, leading the charge over here, Mr. Cunningham has been amazing in helping us understand that this can really open doors for students everywhere. I think those of us that are in Texas know that it is a broad state, and it's not always easy for you to move from one location to the other. So I think digital access is really important, just as a core foundational piece for everybody in any community. And we see that exemplified here in the state of Texas, first and foremost, and obviously globally with communities all over the world. So travel is not as easy, but turning on a computer and having access to internet is a way for us to be able to expand programming and access to everyone. With our program specifically, having these types of conversations and exposing students to being able to look into the law and understand what that looks like within the context of our state here in Texas is about sharing knowledge, and also giving understanding. And so when those two pieces are brought together, it does create a bridge. I think we're all working in the same boat and moving us forward. And so we're excited about the opportunities that can come ahead for this digital expansion, and really being able to open doors for students to connect on a day-to-day basis and not just have to wait for events or opportunities or conferences. But I think it's about accessibility and equity, to make sure that anybody can do it from anywhere.
Do you think it's a great equalizer?
Yes, 100%. I mean, that is definitely what I'm getting at. Ultimately, it's about making sure that everybody's coming from the same playing field. And I think, coming from a kid in a background also that didn't have access to a lot of different resources, I don't feel like I have to show up in a very specific way. And I can just come to the forefront with what I know, with what my knowledge is, and that be able to lead the way. And that means a lot, especially when you're first starting to get started and starting to get comfortable in expression. And I think that is, one of the ultimate equalizers.
And one thing we'd like to probably conclude with your remarks and stuff today is that what advice do you give to these students from El Paso? You grew up and moved away from El Paso and stuff like that, but what would you want to tell them if you're talking to you like yourself at their same age?
Yeah.
What words of wisdom would you like to share?
I think that there is opportunity wherever you are. I love El Paso. I think my path just moved me away, but it was not intentional by any means. I think that it is a community that is growing rapidly. And I think that there is a lot of opportunity for development and for education. I think it's all about what you take advantage of and the doors that you decide to go through, whether it's a community college or the local university or going to a town next door, looking for opportunities where you can create, engage, learn, go and make connections, even at your local city council, school board. Go and meet those people, go and see what they're talking about, go and learn about the expertise that they're bringing to the table. I know that you could learn a lot from your educator here in the room and from what their campus is doing and the expansion that they have all across the state, and even the way that they invest in programs like this. I think that that brings knowledge to you that you can carry in different ways, and that will definitely feed your toolbox as you go into the world.
Okay, thank you so much, Missy, and congratulations. And I know that you're a very busy person today with a lot of meetings, but we do appreciate that. And we'll go back, and I have a certificate and some stuff for you and I'll send it all to you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Seriously, thank you guys so much. I loved hearing about everything that you guys are doing and learning. Keep going.
Okay, getting back to the deal today. I appreciate that on Missy's part. We had just a few remarks from Dertadios. He wanted to talk to you today. He's, let me try to get that. And he also will meet some kids from Del Valle in 10 minutes if you can stay around long enough. Okay, let me go back to this one. Okay, here we have the introduction of the legal program there that we talked about.
The Art of Persuasion, Da Vinci
The
High's
vast
Rising
canvas of El
Stars
Paso's
Education.
The top students, here's Amina's certificate. There's Giovanna's certificate. There's Jordan's certificate. And there's Elisa's certificate. And there's a deal from Missy. We try to do a little bit out of place so you can see. There's Missy's certificate. And then here comes about Dertadios.
Dertadios Abdalian, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, and honored guests. Today we gather to honor a man whose ministry, scholarship, and unwavering commitment to truth have shaped the way we teach, remember, and confront atrocity. It is my privilege to introduce Dertadios Abdalian, Armenian Orthodox priest and educator, as he is inducted into the World Affairs Council of Austin's Ring of Honor for International Educators. Dertadios serves the Eastern Eparchy of the Armenian Church, working closely with mission parishes to bring spiritual guidance and educational leadership to communities across the United States. His work is rooted in faith, but it reaches far beyond the sanctuary. He is a scholar of the Armenian genocide, a teacher of historical truth, and a voice for justice in a world that too often forgets. During the COVID-19 pandemic, when isolation threatened to sever spiritual and educational connections, Dertadios responded with compassion and innovation. He launched a twice-a-month video Bible study, which quickly grew into an international lifeline for those sequestered in their homes. For many, his program became the only source of church, scripture, and community they could access. Through this effort, he not only sustained faith, he expanded education, dialogue, and belonging across borders. His teaching is deeply personal, rooted in the conviction that justice is for the victim, not the criminal. This principle, which he shared with legal program director Michael Cunningham more than 2 decades ago, became the foundation of the Belarus Legal Project and a guiding truth for our curriculum on genocide and memory. Dertateos taught us that murder has no statute of limitation, and that even after the perpetrator dies, the pursuit of justice must continue. 4 aspects of Dertateos' inspirational leadership: moral courage. He speaks truth to silence, insisting that atrocity must be named and remembered. Spiritual integrity. His ministry is rooted in compassion, dignity, and the sacred duty to educate. Global outreach. He connects communities across continents, making faith and history accessible to all. Educational legacy. He transforms spiritual teaching into a platform for historical inquiry and justice. 4 lessons we learn from his work. Faith and education are intertwined. Spiritual leadership can be a powerful vehicle for historical truth. Justice is timeless. Crimes against humanity must be pursued, even beyond the life of the perpetrator. Digital ministry can be global. Education, technology can extend the reach of truth and healing. Memory is a mandate. Teaching genocide is not about the past, it's about shaping the future. 4 ways education has changed because of his influence. Genocide awareness is now central to legal curriculum. Faith-based educators are recognized as global teachers. Virtual platforms are used to teach history and justice. Victim-centered justice is embedded in international dialogue. Today, as we induct Dertateos Abdalian into the Ring of Honor for International Educators, we recognize not only his achievements, but the legacy he continues to build. A legacy of truth, remembrance, and moral clarity. Please join me in celebrating Dertateos, a priest, a scholar, and a true architect of international education and justice.
Here's his remarks. Father Tadeos, tell us a little bit about what you think of this award and some of the things that we need to be doing in education.
Well, the most important, I think, in education is to be truthful. Education is not worth anything if it's based on lies, cover-ups. Education has to be the foundation of the truth, and the truth has to be the foundation of education. So whatever it is that you are presenting, doesn't matter, whatever the subject, it has to be truthful.
Now, in your reflection and your history with your family, explain to us a little bit about how that would go to about the Armenian genocide and how we actually reflect on that and how you were taught in school in the words that you just said.
Well, my father was a survivor of the Armenian genocide. He came from the area of Sepastia, which is now known as Sivas. He lost 23 members of his extended family between sisters and cousins and aunts and uncles and so forth. It was interesting because I had the opportunity to interview him. I was doing working on a project with the Armenian Assembly, interviewing survivors of the genocide. Having grown up and lived in Watertown, Massachusetts, where there are many Armenians and many survivors of the genocide, I was able to speak with many of them, record their stories, and I wanted to include my father, who was very reluctant. He never spoke of anything related to the genocide as we were growing up, but I convinced him to tell his story, and he did. And I learned much of what he went through. never having realized it before. But the interesting part of all those interviews, including my father, was their thankfulness to God for being able to survive, and thankful to this country for allowing them to come here and to live and to prosper however they could, being given that opportunity. They were refugees. They had nothing. Everything was taken away from them, including their loved ones. And coming to this country, they were given the opportunity to live as free people. And every interview that I did, everyone concluded their story by saying, "Thank God for America. Thank God for the opportunity to but have 1, 2, 3, 4 people believe that lie, it all of a sudden becomes a fact. There of worth. And so Azerbaijan was created in order to be able to take those riches and to be developed by the Russians especially. Armenia was a country that was extended to the area where Baku is now, to the Caspian Sea. For 1,000 years, our people lived there. And yet the Azeris claim that it was theirs. And they're even claiming foolishly that Armenia was part of Azerbaijan, where Azerbaijan never existed. But as I said in the beginning, education has to be based on truth. And if you tell a lie continually and have 1, 2, 3, 4 people believe that lie, it all of a sudden becomes a fact. The idea of genocide prevention, part of that whole process is to not allow the lie to become believed. You speak of genocide and the facts of genocide truthfully, so that they can become a foundation for future discussions. I can say that the Armenian genocide happened. The Turks say it never happened. And they continually say it never happened. That's why it's important for the Armenian people, my generation, other the generations that have followed, to learn the facts of what happened, so that it can be brought to the world as a lesson in preventing, hopefully preventing, other genocides from taking place. That hasn't happened. That hasn't happened. Each ethnic group needs to know their history and to present it to the world in a format, again, a truthful format, as a teaching tool. The good that has been done, the bad that has been done, both come together so that we can understand how to proceed with our lives. We haven't learned that war is not good. In the history of mankind, from Cain and Abel, we have not learned that killing is not good. And we continually do it. And until the lesson is learned, and I don't know if we have the capability of learning that lesson. What we see in the past, what has happened in the past, I'm afraid will continue in the future. The indiscriminate bombings by Russia on the people of Ukraine. Why? Why? Russia has the largest land territory in the world. You need more? You need a portion of Ukraine to add to what you have? To give you that sense of accomplishment, victory. If all the Palestinians are eliminated from Gaza, Now what? So you have the territory. Word that will apply if we continually do what we're doing. The facts are very simple. Genocide destroys. It doesn't build. And if you're not going to build, all you do is lose.
Well, thank you very much for those comments. It's excellent. I kind of fast forwarded that just simply because trying to get to the crux of the deal here today. We're waiting on to be joined by 3 students from Del Valley that will be inducted into the Ring of Honor. I thought you would like to meet them. They should be here in about another 4 or 5 minutes. I really appreciate the hard work and effort that you have done so far in these projects. And the World Affairs Council is very serious about supporting you guys, and the Belarus government, Republic of Belarus, is very excited about that. And they've forwarded a bunch of videos and stuff of yours, and they're going to Minsk. Hopefully next week I'll be giving a talk about the courtroom to classroom in El Paso, just about how we're changing the education things in the United States. I was really excited about seeing Missy talk to you a little bit about it, because she is, like I said, she came from El Paso area. I went to school in El Paso, was from the other side of the Rio Bravo del Norte, and has made a very strong, here we go, Del Valley students are waiting. Okay, Del Valley, you there? There you go. I recognize you guys. Okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and end this. You're going to meet some people that were inducted from Da Vinci High School in El Paso. And I had just a little bit of a deal that we're going to put, then we'll have you guys talk. And you can share with you. Just let me try to go back to this, and we'll do that.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, well, it's better if I had you here, but or I was there. Okay, can you see
Yeah, we missed
the?
it again, yeah.
Can you see the moot court part here? You see
Yes.
my share? Okay, good. Okay, these aren't you, but Del Valle High School moot court honorees, and World Affairs Council of Austin, top student inductees around the world. They've given you this honor. Included, and I have a little bit of an introduction here.
The Architects of Understanding, illuminating the path of legal education through mediation, training, and presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, and future leaders of the legal profession, it is an honor and a privilege to stand before you today. We gather at a time when the very essence of legal education is being redefined, moving beyond the confines of dusty tomes and abstract doctrines to embrace the dynamic, human-centered skills that truly define the practice of law. In this pursuit of a more comprehensive, more impactful legal education, I submit to you that not one more perfect embodiment of its burgeoning potential could be found in the world than in the remarkable individuals we are here to celebrate: Kate Means, Ameri Morales, and Stephanie Obregon. We live in an era where the ability to simply recite statutes or analyze case law is no longer sufficient. The modern legal landscape demands practitioners who can not only understand the intricacies of the law, but who can also translate that understanding, facilitate dialogue, and inspire confidence. It requires.
This actually, you can watch the rest of this in the book that we have. We have certificates here for Stephanie, Ameri, and Kate. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to actually hear from them. So let's go back and get off of this, go to this, okay?
I need to go.
Okay. And well, then I'll introduce you guys. So Kate, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself, and then and we really appreciate all the hard work and stuff that you've done. You have Elise over here, and I guess Jordan's not there with us, but you had Giovanni, Amanda, and Jordan. There you go. And Elise and Giovanna is, I believe, still in El Paso, but I don't know if they have to, San Antonio. But go ahead, Kate.
Okay, hi everyone. So my name is Kate. I have been one of Mr. Cunningham's students for 4 years now. And and it's just everything he does, and like things like this just really emphasizes why like global education and connecting with people is so important. I think like getting certificates like this and being on these meetings, it just really shows how engaged, well, not only his own passion like for teaching and like getting students the education they deserve, but it also just shows how important, again, that it is for students at this age, and not like when we're already graduated or in a career, but like right now, like how significant it is for us to connect with people and be exposed to things like this. Oh, and thank you so much. Sorry.
Okay, Kate, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, sorry. Okay. My name is Kate. I plan to go into international policy and possibly diplomacy, ambassadorship. I'm not sure yet. But there's that. Well, I was an intern, or I still am an intern. Was an intern. I interned at the World Affairs Council of Austin, and I also interned with the Belarusian Embassy in DC. Last summer, I was granted a Nisli Y scholarship, and I studied Russian in Latvia for 6 weeks. I've also participated in mediation training with Miss Katie and Miss Lally over in the UK. And yeah, right. And we're also participants in like youth and government competitions through the YMCA and other mock trial-based simulations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Emery?
Hi, so my name is Emery, and like Kate said, we are both like we were our interns for the HBU ABC interns, and we've also like through Cunningham, we've also made like many connections through like diplomacy related things with ambassadors from Belarus, other places, and we've gotten to go on like great trips. We've got to do
DC.
We went to like DC.
Washington DC?
For DC for the embassy, and we did like World Quest, where we got to like learn more about diplomacy and related issues, and it's just like things like this, like learning more about international stuff as a student. It gives you like that foundation that you need to like go into the real world, and like we got to like have wonderful opportunities thanks to Mr. Cunningham.
Yeah, Pavla's going to go to El Paso and then probably swing by and see us here in Austin this summer.
Wow! Oh my God, that's great! Yes, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, he's really excited because what they've done is they have a dynamic teacher over there, Dr. Cunningham and myself. We're actually working with the kids from El Paso 3 times a week. So they're doing some programs, and they set up the chain. So the foreign, we're giving a talk next week all about this classroom to the courtroom to classroom. So we're taking things that were in the courtroom in Minsk and then putting it into the classroom in El Paso. So that's kind of cool. I wish it was Del Valle, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, Stephanie, go ahead. And congratulations, Stephanie.
Thank you. I'll talk about it. Hi, my name is Stephanie Obregón. I also was involved in all of these things that Emery and Kate were, especially mediation. It was something that we did internationally with Mr. Cunningham. Oh, yeah. And especially like with Latin America, like with Peru, yes. Also like YMCA, our debate competitions. Me and my partner got 3rd in the district level recently. Yeah, we did a lot of like mediation and peer mediation, family mediation. And that's something that was very beneficial to me. And thanks to Cunningham's help, I was able to secure a 374,000 scholarship to go to college with all the things that I was able to do with Cunningham, all like the activities, to attend Boston College in the fall next year.
Yeah, so she's gonna go to BC. That's why I said congratulations. One of Kevin's students last year ends up on the mock trial team at St. Mary's. These things have surprisingly long legs to try to do. In fact, I was watching a deal where a person who graduated valedictorian was waitlisted to Harvard, but somebody that has all these different backgrounds with a lot lower GPA and a lot less of an SAT goes right into Harvard. So, you know, it's sometimes it's not only what you do, but how you do it and stuff like that. And this is something that can really be helpful. One thing that I do want to try to do, we're trying to do a bunch of moot courts this spring, and we're going to be doing one that's going to be hopefully kind of neat. It's going to be sponsored by a newspaper out in California, and you're going to actually have lawyers that will ask you questions. It's going to be on the, there are 23 people that have been tried in Baku that were Aktosh, I always pronounce it wrong, but Aktosh citizens, okay, including 15 former leaders of the Republic of Aktosh. Okay, now it has been suggested that they've been tried as terrorists. They've been tried as criminals because they broke Azerbaijani laws. The problem being is that they are a sovereign republic. So what has ended up happening is that we're going to have a moot court case in which you are going to the International Criminal Court of Justice, arguing the fact that this trial is a sham trial because you cannot go into another country, take people, and then put them under laws that do not exist for them. In other words, if somebody came here from the United States, took us over, and I would be convicted of a law that was not during that particular time, you would think that was totally bogus. But in this case, they didn't even have to prove it. They just claimed that, and that was the case. So in other words, we're going to say no jurisdiction, and they never offered the link to convict them. So there's 2 points of error. It's going to be very timely because the trial is about to finish up here, and there could be a potential of either life in prison or worse. So we're talking about timely manner. Also, I was thinking about Giovanni and Amanda and them. We've been doing a whole lot about the IPEEA, and on November the 5th, that was the argument that in front of the Supreme Court, and when two of the Supreme Court justices asked the Trump administration lawyers, how in the world did they think they had the right to tax or put sanctions or tariffs on people? And what was kind of crazy is they should have already known that Congress did that with the IPEEA Congressional Act of 1977. So Congress already gave the president the right to do this. So this is one of the reasons why we're bombing Venezuelan boats. We outlawed the Colombian president. We're doing all these kind of things because if we declare emergency, there's unlimited power that the president can have, given by Congress in 1977. So, you know, we better be careful. We need to know our laws. I really do appreciate seeing you guys today. Also appreciate ending up this. We have these certificates we'd like to include. Do you want to say anything else, girls from Del Valley, about anything or to conclude here? So I know it's almost your lunchtime's over.
Yeah, you know, just again, thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you to World Affairs Council of Austin, and thank you to Pavel and the school in El Paso. Right, everyone that's helped us come this far, and everyone that contributes to Cunningham's amazing works such as this. It's truly
Now,
like.
would
Oh,
you guys
sorry.
be willing to, we're doing virtually, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this publicly, but somebody's leaving the Y.
What do you mean, Cunningham?
No, somebody is leaving the Y. You figure it out. I can't tell you.
We can discuss after the meeting.
Yeah. After this. Anyways, we're doing virtually the court case. Would you guys be able to, they practice at 5:15 our time. Would you guys be able to do some video? They're going to be doing virtually competing. They're not going to compete against you or anything, but would you be able to do some this spring court case against them on the court case on the murder, you know, the blood draw and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, of course. Just let us know.
Yeah. We do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but maybe Monday or Wednesday we could, whatever days you have better off, we can do some deals. And also we're going to try to, there's a couple of charter schools that are going to be involved.
Sounds great.
So you won't be seeing them at state or anything. They're just the same case.
That's fine.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Kate and Emery are partners. So you would kind of know Jordan and Amena are partners, and Giovanni and Elise are partners. So you see the two partners down here, and you would see in the other part, you just don't see because she's in San Antonio. So they had two schools, and today one's in San Antonio. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
There's Giovanni right there. Okay. You saw her. So guys will be able to meet up, and you will be doing some things like this. And maybe if you want to, if you're interested to do the one on the 23 people are being convicted of crime, it's not really even a crime. I think
I think we'd all be open to that. Just let me know dates and times.
Yeah. I think that would be really good. I'll have a thing for you by next week because I tried to do something for the AGBU and AVC, and they don't want to touch it because of politics. And the problem being is I think we can do it through one of the newspapers. They're going to have like a public deal out in California, and we can get the Armenian Trial Lawyers Association to provide some lawyers or something. So it'll be a lot of fun. This would be really good, a high level type of thing.
Thank you again.
Yeah. Talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, and congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
But nice meeting you guys, or nice to y'all meet each other, and we'll see each other after the first of the year. Bye.